This is just mind-blowing, mind-boggling. The new Indigenous Affairs Minister, Patty Hadju, was a health minister. Let's see. Let's go to that background. Where do we start off again? Oh, yeah. Born in Montreal, she spent her early years in Chisholm, Minnesota. With her brother, Sean Patrick Hadju. She's a fucking Yankee, too? What the fuck? What did I miss that? Raised by her aunt and uncle. Her Hungarian last name comes from her stepfather. At 12 years old, Hadju moved to Thunder Bay to live with her mother. Due to a tumultuous relationship, she ended up living on her own at age 16, attempting to finish high school. After graduating from high school, she got a job in Thunder Bay through an employment insurance initiative at a nonprofit adult literacy group, where she trained in graphic design. Hadju then attended Lakehead University, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts. In 2015, she received a Master of Public Administration from the University of Victoria. So, yeah, worked mainly in the field of harm prevention, homelessness, substance misuse prevention, 9 years as head of the Drug Awareness Committee, Thunder Bay District Health Unit. She also worked as a creative director and graphic designer in marketing. She's always pushing her favorite local coffee shops. She's always looking stylish as shit. Right, okay. Prior to her elections in 2015, she was the executive director at Shelter House, city's largest homeless shelter, which is good. This is all good shit. Former Minister of Status of Women in the federal cabinet, headed by Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. In this capacity, she conceived. I just don't understand why they can't find an Indigenous representative. Oh, that's right. The fact that we don't have any type of accredited universities or schools on the reses that we can go to and graduate from. Yeah.
Trudeau was just checking a box.
Yeah, it sounds like he was just checking a box. Female arts major, check. She deals with homeless people and drug addicts. You can take care of the natives. She deals with harm prevention, homelessness, substance abuse. White lady, liberal arts major. You're good. You could take care of all the natives of Canada. We're taking care of all the Indigenous people. Don't worry, all the Indigenous ones are taken care of. Yeah, okay. What about so you got the Inuits, the First Nations, and the Métis all taken care of. One shot. You got it all. Got them all taken care of. Yeah, the Eskimos up there, we're going to help them hunt their whales. The Métis, we're going to help them find their identity between being half white, half French, half Spanish, and half native, and not knowing what tribe they're from or having their status card. Or being like fucking not so diluted in the chain that you're like 10th generation native to the point where you don't really you're better off just going off and finding your French heritage.
Again, I'm just
Bro,
thrilled to
quick story. I had a friend that told me, he's like, yo, I'm Métis, but if they don't give me my status card and pay for my college, I'm white. I was like, what? What are you talking about?
It's like, that's not how it works at all. It's like even the tax exempt isn't that fucking significant. It's like so terrible. So terrible.
Services Minister Mark Miller slides over to Crown Indigenous Relations.
That's hilarious.
One of his priorities will be around land.
Your free schooling
has been broken because of land theft.
It is what it is.
And that's just the reality of it.
Oh yeah, this video, yeah. It's time to give land back. This guy's gonna focus on giving land back. Like what?
On Monday, NDP MP Charlie Angus
You're gonna give land back to us under government fucking watch, and it's gonna be like, oh, hey, you know that land that we gave you that, you know, because of the government, we kind of have, you know, our fingers in there. Yeah, we need that for our new logging industry and our oil industries are selling to China, so it's in the contract here. You get to keep 40% of the extra land, but the other 60 needs to go to our industries here. Sorry.
You can have the land after we take all the resources from it.
Yeah, once we're stripped of resources, then you get it back. We'll leave 40% untouched also. So, oh, there's a fucking health minister in the background. I mean, the finance minister. There she is. Look at all these. Not a native person amongst these people either. That's what I was saying.
So it is time for
You don't see one native guy in this video. It's all white people, Indian people.
Bruh.
Not our Indian.
An
People.
extraordinary
Not the
journey.
native, not the
Trudeau
indigenous
reiterated
ones.
his commitment to reconciliation.
While we move forward on fighting climate change,
Is that what they're called? Is
we
that the
need to
correct term?
include reconciliation with Indigenous peoples in every
East Indian. Is that the
job we
correct
take
term?
in
East
every
Indian, I think
single
it's
way.
East
However,
Indian. Yeah,
NDP
that's
leader
what it
Jagmeet
is.
Singh said it is time for
Jagmeet Singh's the
Trudeau
only
to
one who
act his
mentioned
words.
Stop fighting Indigenous kids in court.
stop fighting indigenous kids in court.
Immediately make sure that
What?
every Indigenous community.
What
has
is, can you elaborate on fighting indigenous kids in
And
court, like fist fighting?
truly to walk the path of justice. We've got
Hey,
to
how?
be clear.
Yeah. Hey, how are you? Hey, how are
The
you?
Truth and Reconciliation Commission has the calls to
Hey, the
action.
first rule of
And the
Native
murdered
Fight
and
Club is
missing
you don't
Indigenous
talk
women and
about the
girls has
kids
the
you
calls
beat
to.
down.
Yeah.
Let's see
Talking about the
those
minors
implemented.
that you punt across the room.
Presumed on November
Oh my
22nd.
god.
I'm Fraser
Yeah, he's the only one who
Nielsen,
mentioned women,
National
missing
Council
indigenous women and,
Ottawa.
and murdered and missing indigenous women. Which is crazy. But they have so many acronyms and I just hate all these people. I'm trying to look into why they switched over though. It's so weird. Like I'm trying to find a concise article that explains why they got rid of Caroline Bennett. Well, there's apparently a bunch of controversy in that cabinet. And then they bumped out this Mark guy and then pushed Hadju through. She's got the qualifications sort of, except for she fucked up like our health budget and stuff. But she's the one who handled the fucking minister who's been at the helm of the federal government's health response. At the appropriate time, a full investigation into the response is required at the appropriate time when I retire, when I leave the position.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. We are still in a crisis. This is from.
Retire early or resign?
Yeah, right. We're still in a crisis, and so our focus remains right now on getting Canadians and Canada through this global health crisis. And when the time is right, our government will be very open to examining very thoroughly. Oh my God, wow. And when the time is right, only when we deem it's okay, when I'm long dead, our government will be very open to examining very thoroughly the response of this country to the COVID-19 crisis. Health Minister Patty Hadju. Oh, wow. Response to Conservative leader Aaron O'Toole pledging Tuesday that a Conservative government is elected, he'd launch a national public inquiry to examine every aspect of the government's pandemic response. But now they don't have to do that because the Liberals got voted in. This is like a old article. What is this? 21 stars still written. Panic. So this is the Gachina Gowan for Wiki. Public Health Agency. Like, where are these? Collaboration is key. Just direct meaning to PTMAs, Federal Health Minister, medical leaders of Canada's provincial and territorial medical, blah, 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 blah. The Untold Story of the Pandemic in Canada, a comprehensive report on the country's mishandling of the crisis of the century.
I don't know. I honestly, well, at least in Ontario, I thought we handled it pretty well, man. Like, I mean, aside from the long care homes, like.
Yeah, long-term care homes, and I don't think the economy thing was it was handled that great either.
No, it wasn't. I mean, you had everyone stay at home. That's never good. But, like, I mean, they gave people support that they could use, and they still let them go to essential places to spend that set money.
I don't know.
I mean, it's better. America, they give them, like, what? They gave 3 stimulus checks, $1,200 each for, like, 2 years? Like, brah, come on. That's you got gypped, bro.
Yeah, they left the fucking borders open and shit too, like the airports and shit, like that weird fucking hotel fucking pay like the quarantine hotels.
like
They're going on vacation. It's like really weird.
They had to come back. They paid like $2,000 to stay in a hotel, and they got like shitty food and shit.
Yeah.
Bro, you're staying in a hotel.
That's
Good, right?
that's a
Oh my
total
God.
cash grab. That screams fucking.
That's exactly what I thought, because they were like giving all this money out to everyone who had to stay at home. Like, how do we make our money back? I was like, oh, every traveler that comes in, stick them in a quarantine hotel, and charge them exorbitant amounts of money and give them nothing. Like, there were so many social media posts about people staying in quarantine hotels in Canada, and like, oh my God, just the bare minimum, bro.
Yep. Institution across the country. Huh? Systematic racism. Okay, so institutions across the country continue to fail Indigenous peoples. The healthcare system failed Joyce Ichakwan and her family, and it has failed Indigenous peoples. All orders of government are responsible for this ongoing failure. It is unacceptable that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis continue to endure systemic racism and discrimination when seeking the care they need. Also, nobody leads. All of our leaders are white. They're not even Native. What the fuck is that? Anyway, racism kills and systemic. I mean, not on the res. Like on the res is like we got our own thing going on, which is nice. I mean, but at the same time, it's like, we got the tribe of three fire, the council of three fires, and then we got all of us unseated motherfuckers. Racism kills, and systemic racism kills systemically. Yo, dude. This is quoted. They said this. They literally read this off. Racism kills, and systemic racism kills systematically. The result is a fear and distrust in a system that can only succeed through trust. The avoidance of care and the denial of care contributes to and exacerbates significant inequities in health and social outcomes. All Indigenous peoples must have fair and equal access to quality and culturally safe healthcare services from any medical professional, anywhere they are, anytime they need. That's true. That is true. We do need that. You must immediately act to address racism against Indigenous peoples within Canada's healthcare system to ensure that everyone is treated with respect, dignity, care, seeking medical support. This is not a new concern, but it is an urgent one. The federal government alone cannot implement all the changes needed. We must work together with Indigenous partners and health professionals, governing bodies, provinces, territories, in order to end racism, end systemic discrimination, and ensure equal and compassionate care of Indigenous peoples. We each have the
We should
moral...
probably start looking first.
Where, bro?
I said we should start looking at the RCMP first. They're the one who files the complaints and stuff like that. Put it all on paper. Like,
That's true.
I've heard a lot of bad stories about the RCMP, man.
Same, man. Same, dude. I've heard fucked up stories too. That's what I'm saying. Respect, dignity. Like, they all keep pushing in respect, dignity, blah, 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 seeking medical attention, but like, half the government funded fucking people that deal with these resources are the racist ones. They make assumptions about Native communities, and that's why they don't let us govern ourselves, because they're like, oh, you're just a bunch of alcoholic, corrupt retards. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Well, no, not all of us, but for those who are, like, who the fuck do you think made them that way? Like, what
Exactly, and who do you think the government works with? They only work with corrupt people because that's the only ones they could fucking bend, and that'll fucking won't give them a hard time. They go, yes, sir. Thank you for the funds, sir. You're such a racial savior of my people. Thanks for the $3 million grant. I'm gonna spend 1.5 of that on my house, and I'm gonna take a $500,000 vacation. Put the other last $1 million into the community somewhere. Like, fuck. The federal government alone cannot implement all the changes needed. They don't mention who the Indigenous partners are. We must work together with Indigenous partners and health professionals, governing bodies. Who are they? Tell us who they are so we can be like, hey, do a good job. Do a better job. You suck. You're doing good. You're doing bad. Fix it. It's really nice to say we're going to do everything and make everything better, but it's another thing to say, hey, these are the organizations and these are the specific people responsible. Okay.
So it's like, you can have a a company run by Indigenous people, but who knows? The owner may be a white person or some foreign or something like that.
Mm.
You could have someone who actually runs the business as an owner who's Indigenous and be hiring a bunch of people who aren't Indigenous. You know, like that phrase, like Indigenous partners, like who are they? What are they actually doing for Indigenous communities, and how are they helping out?
Mhm.
I think that needs to be specified.
Yeah. Attacking systemic and overt racism, ensure consequences and accountability. Today's dialogue. It's like it's not even about racism either. It's about fucking just getting access to resources and like basic communications, and telecoms to. Like it's all you really need.
Just basic needs. I mean, there's still communities that are under. I think there's a couple communities that are still under boil
But
water
yeah,
advisories.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like
And all the shit
that,
that's happening out.
that should
Yeah. And the fucking that contaminated water in Northwest Territories took like 3 weeks for them to get like a fucking water purification system out there. It's like what the fuck? Let alone, I'm pretty sure the communities had to get all the water tests done. Like they themselves had to, like their local people had to fucking look into it. Inuit. They had to look into it. But yeah, fuck. It's crazy. As we move forward, Government of Canada is committed to convening another gathering in January 2021 where proposed and implemented measures will be presented by governments and healthcare organizations. Concrete national plans that address cultural safety and in all institutions. I mean, they did. They had a short-term grant, like a native Indigenous business grant that it ended, I think, in October or something or September, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that shit's good. No, I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, like, I don't know how it is for other reserves. I'm only speaking for my reserve, but like when you start a business, it's so hard to get started because your customer base is so limited because you're on a reserve. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
The business grants only go so far
Mm-hmm.
until you realize, like, okay, yeah, we don't have as much customers as we thought we had.
Yeah.
We're, this isn't feasible.
Dude, that's
And, like,
yeah.
I've seen multiple restaurants on my res just go under.
That's brutal.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Straight up.
Yeah, that's the other thing I bring up too.
But,
A lot
like,
of yeah.
You gotta have the people there to support the business. It's one thing to have a grant, but if you don't have the customer base, it's not feasible at all.
Yeah, they need to make like some type of like tethering system where like you're allowed to pour resources back into the res. Like you're allowed to legally establish, you're allowed to carry your fucking tax exemption rights over. Like I know you can't, like if you live on the res, you get tax exempt, but it's like, how do you manage a business off res and legally say that you live on res? It's like, and that's like a huge thing too. It's like with the education and stuff, it's like you have to go off res to be able to profit and to be able to get the funds to grow your own community. You have to leave your community to expand your community. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There's this one Twitter, I forget who it's by, but there's this one Twitter tweet, and it says quit telling the Indigenous youth to come home and work in the community if you're not going to build spaces for them to work and teach.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, I can understand that, but at the same time, it's like especially in my community, because we live on an island, we only have so much population. It's like these businesses and these spaces aren't feasible. Like some of my family works in for the band office and stuff like that, and like they barely see any visitors. You know, like
Yeah.
it's like there has to be as much as there needs to be a need for a service, there also needs to be a demand and a supply for the service. And
Yeah.
you don't have that, like no business is gonna thrive.
Mm-hmm. Well, absolutely, yeah. Like, well, that's what I mean. Like, yeah, you don't have the customer base on the islands and like on the island, and like yeah, or any other like. There's a bunch of reses on like different islands and shit. So it's like, or like just in remote areas too. It's like,
Especially remote areas too. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Like I mean, the tourists they make up a lot of money as well. Like no doubt about that. But like, but the off season, how you gonna survive? You know.
yeah,
And maybe the subsidies come in for that, help you out, the grants, blah blah blah. But like, what if like the pandemic, like my reserve had a lot less visitors during the pandemic, so it's like I'm sure those companies were just like scraping by. You know, possibly some of them got the government grant to help businesses. You know, you never know. But like, it's like if that didn't happen, would those companies actually survive the pandemic if they didn't have the customer base from tourists and stuff like that as well?
hmm
Luckily, most of the places, well, not most of all the places in my community survived.
yeah.
But like, I couldn't imagine what it's like for the remote areas, like going up to what Northwest Territories and stuff like that, where it's a fly-in community. Like,
hmm
man, that must have been hard for you guys.
Just absolute madness, bro.
Did you stop recording? Can I stop talking about this?
Hell no. Keep talking forever.
Okay.
Is there a moment when
All
it
right.
became?
What other insight?
Hmm?
Well, isn't your reserves unsucceeded?
Unseated? Yeah, mine's unseated too. Yeah.
How
Unseated,
did
bro.
the-
Shaka, bro. What's up?
How did that affect them? Do you know?
Like I don't know, we're pretty good. Like we got a bridge to our island, so but we also have a nice ferry too.
Yeah, the Tobermory, yeah.
No,
Can't
the
believe you've
Chichimong,
done
bro.
this.
The Chichimong. Oh, is it called the Tobermory now? I don't know. They probably renamed it.
No, that's the one that goes to Tobermory, I thought.
Oh, the one that goes to Tobermory. Yeah, the one that goes to Tobermory. Yeah, the Chichimong. Yeah, it's called the Chichimong. Yeah, it is a Tobermory ferry. You're right. Yeah. But it's called the Chichimon. But yeah, it's a Tobermory ferry. It's a nice and
Mon. What's Mon mean?
Hmm?
Chi means big. What does Mon mean?
I don't know what the fuck.
Chi means big.
Chin
What does
chin.
Mon mean?
I don't know what the fuck Mon means.
Oh, true. Well, I thought you had the native app on you.
I never looked at the meaning of fucking Chichimon. Let's look it up now. Let's learn something. One sec. I'm looking it up here. What to do? Where to stay? No,
Be
what
like big otter.
what is Chichimon? The big canoe.
Canoe, yeah. I told you it was big.
Chichimon. The Chichimon. The Chichimon. Chichimon. What the fuck? Chichimon. Ship aboard Chichimon. Features a drive. Was initially. A trip aboard the Chichimon is a long-standing Great Lakes tradition dating back to the 1930s when a small wooden vessel, Kagawong, first ferried vehicles across the Georgian Bay between Tobermory and Baymouth. Features a drive-on, drive-off bow, stern loading and unloading through a visored bow system and a square door stern section. The ship is 111 meters long with a 19-meter beam, and it has capacity for 648 passengers and 143 vehicles, including room for large highway vehicles such as buses and transport trucks. Chichimon was initially powered by two Ruston 3500 horsepower, 2,600 kilowatt diesel engines and an 800 horsepower, 600 kilowatt bow thruster engine. Monster Jam. Sunday. During the 2006-2007 winter layover period, Ruston engines were replaced with 4 Caterpillar V8 diesels. The addition of 2 mezzanine decks in 1982 increased the ship's vehicle carrying capacity. Like her predecessors on Lake Huron, Chichimon is owned by Owen Sound Transportation Company, blah, blah, blah. What does it say that? Literally translated, Chimon in folk orthography, or Chijimon in the more... What?
What was that? Chin Chin Pokemon?
Chin Chin Pokemon. That's exactly what it was. Chin Chin Jimon in the more standard Fiero double vowel spelling. It means big canoe in Ojibwe. Oh, it is Ojibwe. Yeah. Or Anishinaabe Moin.
Told you.
It is, okay. Ojibwe is the same as Anishinaabe Moin, isn't it? Yeah, Anishinaabe. It is Anishinaabe Moin, yeah.
Yeah. Different dialects, but yeah, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much the same shit, yeah. Hell yeah, my nigga.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. The fucking
Should be like an anime title.
Chichimon, gotta catch him. Get a good picture of this thing.
Chichimon, gotta cash him all.
Ash cash him all. Look at that bow loader. Oh, baby. Look at that indigenous art. Ooh, baby.
Yeah, right click, save as.
Save as. View image, save as. View image, save. View image in new tabs, save as. Oh, yeah, look at that art. Oh, yeah, it's so artistic. I'm so fucking artistic right now.
Bro, you could probably be the part of the indigenous cabinet then.
That's it. That's why I was trying to get involved in the community. I'm like, I just want to get involved in the community, spread the word. Maybe, you know, be able to rep the fucking res on my cancer fundraiser. That would get the word out a little bit more for everybody. We got an awareness about cancer. We got awareness about indigenous communities, particularly my indigenous community, my mom's.
Well, it's, to be honest, it's not even like indigenous communities don't even represent the actual vast population, because like there's a lot of like poor communities, like even in Toronto, like they say we don't have ghettos. We definitely do. It's
Definitely.
You know, it's something that's swept under the rug in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have ghettos. Yeah, our ghettos are like around the big cities, though. Like,
yeah.
It's not like
even there, like even small rural communities of like there's like crack streets. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a crack street, so it's not like as bad as like the vast ghettos of like Toronto or Montreal or like Vancouver. Like that's the 3 major cities in Canada where you're gonna find really sad shit. But
yeah, but it's like they look at the indigenous issues of like no water, no representation. You know, like racism and stuff like that. Like the list goes on, but like you can even look at like the impoverished communities within big cities too, and like they're going through the same thing as well. Like they get the shittiest infrastructure. Like they don't upgrade their infrastructure. You know, like it's definitely a full fucking national issue. Just because we say indigenous and it affects the indigenous communities, like doesn't mean those issues don't exist in other parts of the countries.
Oh, of course.
Demographics, you know.
Oh, definitely. But what I mean is that if they're gonna play this whole segregating everybody's aid and they're gonna start playing fucking these people needed more help than these people. It's like,
That's all they're doing right now. Too,
I know, which
man.
is ridiculous, and I don't believe
oh,
in that shit at all. Yeah.
Everyone needs help right now. Holy.
Yeah.
Jesus. Have we not gone pandemic for the last 2 years? Like everyone needs help. Like holy fuck.
So say we should all be banding together, but there's the thing I don't like too is like the fact that the government is pushing, like, you clearly see there's divisiveness going on in the policies that they're implementing. Like they need to revise everything and figure it out. 'Cause something's not right with that. That's for sure. Everybody should be comfortable. That's the first law. Everybody should be comfortable and happy. And now the government's like, no, it's okay now to start fucking making people uncomfortable. You didn't get the vaccine. Oh, you don't have a job anymore. Oh, you're a fucking anti-vaxxer. Something's wrong with you. You're stupid. You're dumb. Government says you're dumb, and I can tell you that.
I got my vaccine. I just don't want to get a fucking stupid QR code to prove it. Like,
Yeah.
QR codes suck. Like,
Oh no, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in general, yeah.
I'm surprised QR codes are still being used. That's how surprised I am. Like, they fucking suck.
Yeah.
When I was in college, QR codes came out, and throughout adulthood, like, you know, having a job and everything, like, I've never once seen anyone use a fucking QR code.
Same, dude.
What the fuck?
The first time I used QR codes was like when I first got my security job, like last year or the year before. You have to do rounds, like put little QR stickers, so you keep track of, like, make sure that you're doing your rounds. I'm like, pfft. Like, that's kind of convenient, but like, well, why?
QR codes suck.
Yeah, they're trash. QR codes are trash.
Give me something else. Give me, you know, Spotify, how they have those little wavelengths to find out a song. Give me that. I'll fucking rather use that than a fucking QR code. Holy fuck. QR code is like obsolete. It's like fucking S video at this point, you know?
Yep.
No one uses S video anymore. Anyways, that's my rant about QR codes.
Hell yeah. Solid, bro. Solid. I agree. 240K. Just had you. So, as Indigenous Affairs leader, do you make more money? Do you make 300K still? Should you still make 300K a year? God damn.
I thought when you join a job, they give you a different salary.
I don't know. I don't know what should you make as Indigenous Affairs Minister. I just assume you're making significantly more now with all the fucking, I don't know, all the funding and shit. That's what I'm saying.
This cartoon.
It's like, I'm pretty sure we could name off more Indigenous communities off the top of our heads than these people ever could. God damn.
She went to art school, man. She could only name like Picasso, data art, pointillism. Like, what is that? How does that help us?
The fuck is what are you talking about? Van Gogh?
Yeah. Van Gogh home.
Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. There's rampant suicide in my community.
Well, that's probably not wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you're telling her this. She's talking about art. You know what? Put up some Salvador Dali, and it'll make you think about other things than wanting to kill yourself. Look at my nice Indigenous earrings.
I'm pretty sure dealing with drug problems on the res and looking at Salvador Dali is going to help you. I doubt it.
Yeah, right.
Fuck.
I bought these native Indigenous Aboriginal arts earrings, so I'm supporting the local res.
Same wavelength.
Trudeau won't even go to the fucking res. Trudeau goes on vacation when the fucking drives me up.
That was like back. Yeah.
He's like, oh, sorry. I had to go on vacation. I had that one planned. I had that one booked. Sorry, boys. Sorry. I got you.
I thought the whole Indigenous community booked it off, so I wasn't going to see any of you. I thought I was on vacation too.
Yeah, I thought that was truth and reconciliation. We all get a vacation. Yeah, that blew my mind too. Like, what? Everybody gets a vacation? Okay. My work too
How
is like
it not a.
Mhm.
Well, the thing is, like, it's not even that holiday, and he fucking takes it off. It's like, bro, you're the fucking government, dude. Like, what the fuck,
Yeah.
dude?
absolutely fucking ridiculous.
Redonkulous. That's what I meant to say. Redonkulous.
Oh yeah, classic. Okay, wait. Yeah, let me find these.
You're fucking redonkulous.
This.
Meow.
Meow. Okay. Carolyn Bennett has been shuffled out of Crown Indigenous Relations, and Mark Miller will take her place, moving over from Indigenous Services as Prime Minister. This isn't even spelled properly. What the fuck? What website is this? APTN? Okay, I guess that makes sense. I'm not gonna. I was like, is this CBC? I'm gonna make fun of them so bad. I'm like, oh, it's APTN. All right.
Bro, you know how
Fair
many
enough.
times I watch APTN News and like just watch them? Oh my god, the camera guys, the teleprompters, the newscasters, they always backed it up.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, dude, just like
But have you watched it recently on all the upgrades they got this year? Like
No.
everything looks so baller now. Everything's all HD now. Everything looks just like CBC.
oh shit.
Ye-
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, dude. If you didn't watch it the last year, APTN got fatty facelift. You got that Trudeau drama teacher. Fucking, I love the fucking television industry facelift bonus.
Ew.
It looks
Does it
just
still
like.
run better, or is it just
Oh yeah, it
is
looks.
there a difference?
Oh no, it looks way better. Look, yeah, it runs a little bit better. Obviously, like APTN, they got a nice. They got a nice facelift. It's a nice government bonus, but it looks like it's definitely like heavily like he probably had producer friends that he wanted to find excuses to give government money to, and it's like whatever. APTN still has their native reps and their native workers, but like they're probably all being ran by Trudeau's white producer friends or whatever the fuck. It's probably nobody that's native that's actually running the show.
And it looks better.
All right. We all agree that litigation isn't serving Indigenous children, but we're not going to do anything about it. But there are many important conversations to be had, and we'll be having them very quickly. What? Said a freshly sworn in Hajdu. Haidu.
Is that a against? What the fuck was that?
What?
Are they for it or against?
Against? I know, right?
What was
We
that
all
statement?
agree that litigation isn't serving Indigenous children, but there are many important conversations to be had, and we'll be having them very quickly. What? Conversation is important, but ensuring Indigenous children have equity in services and opportunities, like every other child across this country, is extremely important as well. Okay. Dan Vandal, who is Métis from Winnipeg, stays put as Northern Affairs Minister and remains the only Indigenous cabinet minister. Yeah. Is Dan Vandal the guy I think he is? Okay, no. I was thinking of this other
Yeah, I'll be right
big
back.
native guy. Yeah, Dan Vandal's the only one who's like actually native. St. Boniface, he's from Winnipeg as well. Yeah, it's Prairies Economic Development Canada and Minister responsible for Canadian Northern Economic Development Agency to his portfolio. Vandal said he has proud to return. It's a mandate. He was asked what he's doing to help with Iqaluit's pressing water crisis. It is infrastructure based. He said, I'm looking forward to working with the city, the territory, and the infrastructure minister to arrive at a long-term solution. Bennett's new title is Minister of Mental Health and Addictions and Associate Minister of Health. This year after she sent then independent MP Jody Wilson-Raybould a text that Wilson-Raybould posted online called misogynist. Bennett apologized shortly after, but some First Nation leaders urged her to resign. After Trudeau's ill-considered vacation, this is the SNC-Lavalin scandal. Ill-considered Tofino, BC trip. Commence by removing Carolyn Bennett, who has sent millions of dollars obstructing rights for residential school survivors from cabinet. She declined to address those criticisms when asked. I am extraordinarily proud of what we've been able to do. The importance of reconciliation from coast to coast has never been higher. We've got tons of more work to do, and I will continue in my portfolio. Oh my God. These are fucking psychotic hypocrites that you have in cabinet. And like these people are like why don't these people step down? Is it because they're women and they need 3 strikes? It's because, we got to give the women a chance. Like any person in their right mind who's...
I'm telling you, man. Trudeau's he's just checking check boxes, man. That's all he's fucking doing.
It's just fucked up,
checking
though.
to see if people are right for the job. He's just hitting check boxes. Like, we have a diverse cabinet. Oh, yeah, we do. And then once one of them steps out of line, like, hey, get out of here.
Yeah.
Find someone else.
Okay,
Someone doesn't agree with what he's putting, like, get out of here. Find someone else.
Oh my God. I have a hideous zit on my forehead, but it's okay. I don't care.
They're all just fucking two-stepping each other, man. Just two-stepping, dancing around each other. Like,
this is fucked.
Oh shit! 1 sec.
Yeah.
Be back. Forgot.
The Indian Act and had the First Nations Inuit health branch. Jane Philpott was...
Yo.
Yeah.
Did you stop recording yet?
No.
All right, so we gotta keep being political, eh? All right.
I don't have to.
Freshen up.
I have to be political.
No, I'm
Health legislation and the ongoing reform. 12 First Nations in my own... I have 12 First Nations in my own writing, and I have worked extensively with Indigenous people. Haidu said. I consider this a huge honor.
What does 12 Indigenous communities in my own writing mean?
Yeah, First Nations in my own writing. I have 12 First Nations in my own writing.
I don't understand the context.
She has 12. Yeah, she has 12 Native people in her own writings. I've worked extensively with Indigenous people.
Writing. Oh, I thought you said writing. I was like, writing. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, no. Like in her constituents, there's like 12 of them that are First Nations. So work extensively with Indigenous people. Alongside Philpott and Wilson-Raybould, who resigned, Fisheries Minister Bernadette Jordan lost her seat. So did Mariam Bonsef, and former Infrastructure Minister Catherine McKenna opted not to seek re-election. Vancouver MP Joyce Murray takes over the fisheries portfolio. Trudy Anna Burgess. It's all women. What the fuck? Were major issues for Jordan? What's up?
Wait, hang on a second. Let me make a point. She takes over the fishery portfolios. Meanwhile, last year there was a bunch of people burning down native fisheries, and the RCMP just stood by and watched it happen.
Yeah, it's Joyce Murray. The other one, it's Joyce Murray who's taking over the fisheries portfolio. I think, who was the former fisheries?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking.
Bernadette Jordan was the fisheries minister. Bernadette Jordan. Jordan was her. That's the Mi'kmaq. That was the Mi'kmaq, right? Issue? That was the Mi'kmaq fishery issue, right? Or whatever the fuck. Micmac, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it was.
Their leader on who denounced the cabinet as a largely inexperienced and ideologically driven bunch who have demonstrated incompetence and lack of accountability in the past. Damn, O'Toole's fucking sniping these people. Why are people? Oh man, O'Toole's sharper than he might put on to be. NDP, I don't know. And what's the thing that everybody's like saying? Like Aaron O'Toole's like if you vote for conservative, it's pretty much voting liberal. Like, what was that narrative? Like, what? That was such a weird, consistent narrative I heard before the elections.
Pretty sure because Aaron O'Toole was trying to follow the he was trying to be conservative, but he was also trying to follow the COVID mandates and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's where they got the idea from. It's like, if you're voting Aaron O'Toole, you're voting liberal as well, because he was trying to follow the mandates.
Yeah, but it's like you can't not follow the mandates. You can't be up there going, no, go cough in your neighbor's mouth. There's nothing out there. Nobody's dying. Like, it's clear something going on. Singh declared that this government should stop fighting Indigenous kids in court. That is the wrong thing to do. Oh my god. There's no specific examples too. It's like
someone did something wrong, try them.
Mm-hmm.
Put them on trial or whatever. Fucking go through court. Blah blah. If they did something wrong, if they didn't do something wrong, I'm sure they'll be found innocent. But like, that's what's happening in America. Is like all these protesters and shit like that. All the rioters is like, there's all these all this stuff in blue states where like if these rioters come in, like, oh, you can't prosecute them, so the DA won't prosecute them and just let them go with no bail or anything like that, and then they just keep rioting. It's like, you don't want the same thing in Canada. Like, if someone did something wrong, yeah, prosecute them, like with the full extent of the law that is legal.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, if someone didn't do anything wrong, I'm sure the evidence will show that, and they'll be set free.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I can't speak for every province or every jurisdiction. I'm sure some of them are racist and some of them do have those behind them, but like, in a perfect world, right? Okay.
Yeah, like here's Manny. Here's a wiki. Wikwemikong. They don't even have it spelled properly in Google Maps. What the fuck? It's an old spelling too. Sheesh. Y'all ain't even got the right spelling either. It's Wick. Well, yeah, it's that. Wikwemikong. Wikwemikong. Keep getting a weird feedback.
True.
True. Yes. Monitor's off. All right.
I think my mic's just picking it up.
Yeah, that's probably all it is. He's a long record of service in St. Boniface. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Moose Factory's a shitty res. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. That's what I heard anyway. My buddy lived out there for a little bit.
Spend native people, and then I'm gonna trash Moose Jaw.
Yeah, fuck you, Moose Factory. No, but I mean, like, it's good to point these things out because you're like, people will know, okay, this reserve is like in bad condition. The government's neglecting it. You know what I mean? It's not them not just saying like, this is shit. These fucking savages need to get fucking nuked off the fucking map. No, I was saying this. I heard this is a fucking shit res. Like, I heard the government had a program here where they like lottoed houses off to the population. Like, supposedly the company like knew that there was a problem population, and like the locals like burnt down all the fucking house. Like the people who didn't get the houses just burnt them all down, and like obviously the companies and like the owners of the like properties had insurance, so it's like, well, this program didn't work out, so I guess we're gonna pocket the rest of the money, and you guys don't have houses anymore.
It's a little fucked up. They had a lot of them off. What the
Right?
fuck is that?
It doesn't even make sense.
What?
Like, yeah. The stories you hear about these fucking weird government programs.
Well, bro, it's like my res too. Like the rent on like these people, like these native Ojibways, like we got it good here on my res, man. Like they get like full houses, couple bedrooms, you know. Some of them have 2 baths, most of them have 1 bath, you know, but like the more modern ones have 2 baths. So like they get good houses, and the rent is cheap, man, compared to town. Like holy shit, man. Like and then like you know how it is, fucking drug problems and shit like that. Like fucking like oh my god, some of these people just tear up these houses, dude. But like some of these people actually like they thrive off that too. Like they get a good house, they have a good family, you know, they can build it up. Like I've seen people doing yard work, you know, having a good time, kids playing in the yard, you know, blah 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 blah, you know, the suburban dream on the res, you know, pretty much. It's like so like I like yeah, cheap housing does work. Just I don't know. It really depends on your community too.
Yeah.
And all the houses here are they're clone homes too, man. Like they're all the same house. They just build the same house over and over again now.
We're like at on the island.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird. I know. I was trying to find like a government map of all the reses. There's so many fucking reses. It's retarded.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, my res is pretty good. I'm like I got no gripes against it except for leadership, but I mean that comes down to local shit though. Oh yo, so
Yeah.
so they're building 10 houses way down the way. Way away from the dock. It's like one of the last streets where they're building res houses. But they're gonna build 5 houses for females and then 5 houses for males. And I was telling my dad, I was like, yo, let's take bets. Let's see how long it takes for one of them to get pregnant.
Right? Yeah. Hell yeah. It's defo gonna be happening. I check my local fucking reses and tribes. Holy fuck. Chippewas of Kettle and Stony Point. Moravian of the Thames. What the fuck? Oneida Nation. Dude, okay, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Fucking Kevin and Net, bro. Like, tribes like this and, like, weird... Like, I wonder if he's on this map. There's, like... Have you heard of this Kevin and Net?
What?
Like, Kevin and Net is, like... Okay, he's kind of cool because he's looking into, like, the Mohawk residential school that was, like, near here. Like, near Ontario. It's, like, near Hamilton, Ontario. But... the not cool part of him is that he's an absolute psycho conspiracy theorist, and he's like saying that he's part of like some First Nations where like they're like a sovereign.
From Rebel News.
What?
Is that the guy from Rebel News?
No, he's not from Rebel News. Like he's not part of Rebel News.
Okay.
Maybe they covered him, but he's not part of Rebel News. No. But his name's Kevin Annette, and he's one of the first people to take ground penetrating radar to one of the res schools to find like corpses and shit, and like they won't investigate it, and the Vatican's shut down his investigation. Is he's said himself, I've emailed him, and he said that they've had his like friends killed and shit, like people silenced or whatever from him. Yeah, looking into like the Vatican, looking into for him looking into. Yeah, I know this is turning
into a coast fucking podcast. Holy
That's what I'm saying, or like a fucking what's that movie with Tom Hanks? The fucking fucking whatever. I don't know. The Angels and Demons. Before that one, Da Vinci Code shit. Yeah, it's turning into Da Vinci Code shit. I know this guy blows it. That's what I'm saying. He's like, it's into conspiracy theory territory where it gets unbelievable. But the thing is that Mohawk Residential School existed, and like he went there with Grandpa Jenner Radar and found like bones and shit, and they wouldn't let him look into it anymore, which is weird, right? Like, it's true, it happened. But the thing that sucks is that dismisses all of his legitimate findings is the fact that he thinks he's like, or I don't know if he does, or he says he's part of this First Nations, and like they don't owe taxes, and once you join the First Nations, you don't have to pay any debts that you had before, and it's like, that's not how like that's not how that works. Like, what? Like, if you fucking owe money, you owe money. Like,
not paying taxes is a real thing. Like,
not paying taxes, yes, but like the debt, like you owe money. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
That fucking oh my god, that reminds me of one thing we were talking about. Fucking because what was it, in September or August? Out west there was they did that seismic shit. They were looking underground with some lasers or whatever the fuck it is, and they found like a bunch of like kids' graves and stuff like that. Bro, I had a couple tears coming out of my eyes. I was like, that's fucking sad. And then I remembered, I was like, bro, you were talking about that shit. You wanted to go to Hamilton, remember that? And we were gonna look up that one fucking site.
Yeah, Mohawk
like,
Res School. Yeah,
no, I convinced you not to, because it was a heritage site. So like, big federal felonies if we fucking did that shit.
Yeah.
So, like, after hearing the news about those out west, I was like, man, we fucking should have did it. Fuck.
That's what I'm saying, and we could and look at, or at least get it looked into, because it's fucking weird. Yeah, Mohawk Res School.
Or some shit like that.
Yeah, dude, but don't get Kevin Annett involved, because he's clearly a nut. But
Yeah.
Okay, you're part of Chippewas of Rama. That's what Beausoleil is from. Chippewas of Rama.
Some
Where the fuck? We're Michigan. We're Michigan. What the fuck? Oh no, because we're unseated, so we're not part of that. Yeah, we're just wiki. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, everyone calls you a wiki.
Yeah, it says you guys are part of Chippewas. Wikipedia, bro. United Chief Councils of Nidumnising.
Damn,
Mama
guys, just
Westwind.
dox me right now.
Yo, I'm doxing the shit out of myself too. I'm recording though. I'm not streaming, so I don't actually care though. I want people to know. I want you to know. Come find me on the res, bro. No, I also doxed where I'm at too. Niagara Falls, bro. I'm in Niagara Falls. No, because I had to go over near the reses by my place too. By Hamilton, Caledonia and shit. I'm surprised Caledonia is like the closest one, and like there's one near the States.
Yeah, I heard Wiki still has like caves and cave drawings and shit like that. I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Hell yeah, bro.
I never got to see him, but I heard that.
Yeah, bro. We're like
fucking cool, dude.
Yeah, there's like sacred rivers and shit that used to go like down to like the States, and like there's supposedly stories about like giants and shit. Like, I don't know, you hear like old giant stories and shit, but there was like supposedly that was around like our lakes and shit, and like our rivers. It had like weird fucking genetics.
Giant stories?
Mm.
I love giant stories from native stories because the old Christians and Catholics used to be like, convert. It's like, bro, like you had giants in your stories too. Don't you remember the Nephilim? Like,
yeah, but those were like, yeah, those were kind of a little bit more crazier. But like the ones I'm talking about were like actually like pretty like there were like actual like actual tribes that lived along that were documented being like,
Natives,
well, not like giants, but like, you know what I mean? Like they were like average like 6-7 feet
they were
tall.
they're like 7 or 8 feet tall, man.
Yeah, well, I don't know about like 8's pretty fucking massive, but like they were like good 6-7 feet tall, like on average, and like supposedly some of them had red hair. I don't think this was the red hair one. Like these ones are just like, they just said there was noted tall ass fucking natives along the rivers going from like the States into Canada, where we're at, and
There's one native, I think it's mid or southern states that they have all the mounds, and a lot of people thought they were burial mounds just for the native people, but like if you look at the native stories of that area, like some of them are like, some of the stories are like, no, we buried giants in those mounds. It's like, that's crazy. And then you
Well,
look down even southern in the stuff like that, and you see cave drawings of like little people fighting off huge people. It's like,
well,
just, like,
maybe. I don't know about that. Because, like, dude, yeah, I don't know. There could just be interpretations of the mountains, too, like, of that, like, back in the day, because they didn't understand how the mountains are built, but, like, yeah, there's no, like, they ask, like, there's no actual, like, 10-foot, like, because,
no, I'm just saying,
yeah.
those are the stories from the culture.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, yeah, for the culture, yeah. No, but I'm just trying to say, because Barnum and Bailey, it makes me start thinking of Barnum and Bailey now, because they had like one of the old school like original fake giant bones were done by Barnum and Bailey, and like that's where there's one born every minute comes from. Yeah, sucker born every minute. There's one born every minute. Because they would charge people like 25 cents to come look at the giant dead body that they made and put into the ground.
Back to my original point is like,
Sorry.
the Bible talks about all these giant great flood, and like our fucking cultures talk about the great flood and fucking giants and shit like that. There's more what do you call it? There's more similarities in the Bible than just that.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know why
David
they
and
just
Goliath, all
killed us,
that.
man.
Yeah. Mhm.
Hey, bro, like, like what the fuck?
Killing them giants. The Cyclops.
Catholics don't want to kill us. Like, bro, our stories are pretty similar to yours. What are you talking about?
You got the Thunderbirds.
We had because I know I'm pretty sure Catholics and Christianity like only do the New Testament, right? Is that correct?
Oh, I
so,
don't
like,
know. Yeah, I'm not huge into theology, so yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to one elder, and because of all like the genocide the Native people went through and stuff like that, especially with the kids in residential school, he was asked by Jewish communities. What do they call them? What are the churches? Synagogues?
Synagogues, yep.
Yeah. So he was asked by not preachers or priests. What are they called? Anyways,
rabbis. Yeah, rabbi.
Rabbi.
He said, let me be the rabbi.
by the-
He said, "Hey, chief, I got a question for you."
But he was asked by the rabbis
Yeah.
to come and talk about his experience with residential schools
Yeah.
because the Jewish people went through a similar thing during the Holocaust and stuff like that. You know, like they take the whole families, all the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, and segregate them.
That's
And,
when
yeah.
Yeah.
Try to assimilate them, and a bunch of them die, and they go, "Well, I mean, the whole point of it wasn't for them to die, but so I mean, yeah,
It's just too bad the Catholics and Christianity retconned the Old Testament.
yeah, right." But yeah, it's just weird. It is totally like it's exactly like what the Germans did to the Jews, but it's okay over here because they were savages. They would murder each other and rape each other and scalp each other, and that's okay. It's better than the assimilating them is better than the alternative. It's like, what? Definitely not the case. It's like we were like preserving the land, and We were living pretty good time. We had wars like any other nations or any other tribes. There was infighting, sure.
Yeah.
But we preserved the land. You can still go swimming in the fucking local lakes and shit.
Just don't steal my horse.
Yeah, just don't steal my goddamn horse. I love my horse. Yeah. Interesting stuff.
I'm pretty sure the horses were
Patty.
don't encroach on my hunt.
Actions management. Like, how do you keep track of all of these? No way is this lady keeping track of all of these reses. Impossible. But why doesn't it count all the Nunavut? The fucking Inuit fucking people. Where are my Inuits at? Oh, here we go. Inuit community profile map. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. You may also be interested in what error not found. What? Did they kill all the Inuits? What? Inuit community profiles interactive map. I just found a Canadian conspiracy, bro.
Nah, they just don't know how to program a good server.
Right. Interactive map viewer. Okay, I know about Iqaluit. Okay, here we go. What the fuck's going on out here? Southampton Island.
You know what? When I was going to school, elementary school in a white community. Well, I shouldn't say white. It's like a mixed community, I guess.
Mm.
Well, it was predominantly French, but everyone spoke English. I don't know what they call it, but anyways, when I went to that school, it wasn't on the res. When I went to the school, like my one teacher was like, "Hey, why do they call it none of it?" And was like, "Why? Because there's none of it there."
Got him.
Oh, true, because it's all just fucking snow. Like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah. Nunatsiavut. Nunavik. What else we got here? Inuvialuit and Nunavut. Where's Iqaluit? Yeah, there she blows. The capital. Invalid license key. Why do I need? It's a fucking web service. Why do I need a license key? Fuck out of my face. Sax Harbor.
No one gives data away for free anymore.
Yeah,
Dude.
right? Fuck off.
Turn off your ad blocker; it'll probably work.
Yeah, right. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. Sheesh. Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go cave. We should go cave diving in Wiki. We should take a boat out and fucking chill out on the waters.
I want a big life jacket though.
Yeah, obviously, you fucking definitely need life jackets out on the water.
I'm wearing one of those full suit life jackets. So I'm floating there for like a day and a half. They can still find me, and I'm still alive.
Dude, yeah, do it. Tobermory. I guess it
It's all
would,
fresh water too. So.
right?
Unless
fucking
a sturgeon gets me.
Fucking sturgeons. These things are fucking terrifying. You got sturgeons around there? Sturgeon Bay?
Yeah, bro.
Sturgeon Bay around there?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's true, but one of the elders was calling Chunmasing Big Sturgeon Island or something like that. That's like one of the old names.
Really? Get ourselves some fucking sturgeon. That would make a sick video. Catch a fat sturgy.
I've seen a sturgeon before, man. Well, dead though. It was just floating in the water.
Damn.
Yeah, used to date this one chick, and we'd always go out to her grandparents because they had like boats and shit like that. So we'd always go out there and do like water skiing.
Mhm.
So one time, me and her took the boat out, and we were just ripping around the bay. Getting like, what the fuck is that little white chunk over there? So go over to it. They got just a dead sturgeon floating, long nose and everything, man. Is it a nose? What do they call it?
Nani? Sturgeons are just like these fatty monsters, right?
They're like you know how America has freshwater sharks? That's what sturgeons are.
Yeah,
for us.
dude. Yeah. They get massive.
Oh, they're fucking huge, dude. Holy shit.
Mhm. Fuck, a sturgeon falls again. Oh yeah, it's south of Lake Nipissing by North Bay. Shh. That pisses into the French River.
No, they
Hmm?
they definitely be in Georgian Bay too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Lake Nipissing pisses into Georgia Bay for the French River, so
Yeah, I was doing this filming program over the summer, and one of the programs I did was how to prepare fish and stuff like that. And one of the points he mentioned was that you're not allowed to catch sturgeon. If you catch a sturgeon, you have to put it back in the water. But if it's dead, you have to take it back to one of the communities to see if they can use it, because apparently it's part of one of the ceremonial practices.
it's
I was
interesting
like,
as
hey,
fuck.
man, that's pretty cool to know.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't tell us what ceremony and practice is, but part of one of them.
Yeah. We're talking average 300 meter elevation.
This guy's name in RuneScape is
100,
the Fat
2000. The what?
the FAP train.
Typical. 200 meters. Yeah, this all makes sense. This is going downhill. 200 meters. Fuck's my elevation over here? Hey, what's my elevation over here? I need a frame of reference. All right, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, Canada's pretty Canadian. I think that was pretty educational recording we made. I'm just gonna finish it. I'm just gonna end it here. Maybe I'll edit it. Maybe I'll post it raw, because I don't care. Who knows? Post it raw. Indigenous leaders reacted positively. I'm not going to say which ones. Roseanne Archibald, National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, says Tuesday that she welcomes the opportunity to collaborate with Mr. Miller and Mrs. Haydu. My hope is that these individuals and all ministers in cabinet will work alongside First Nations to find a healing path forward, Miss Archibald said in a statement. Archibalds. Okay. There's an advocate and politician who is current nation chief, official chief of the Assembly of First Nations. Yeah.
I'm back.
Oh, what's good, bro? Taekwondo Nation in 99. 23-year-old female chief. Snobbeski Nation. Grand Chief, first woman and youngest Grand Chief of the Mushkego Council in 1994.
Fuck. Would you vote for a 4-year-old? Fuck no. What the fuck is that?
First woman elected as Ontario Regional Chief in 2018. During this tenure, Archibald was the subject of an independent probe after AFN staff accused her of bullying and harassment. While AFM deemed the allegations credible, Archibald maintains the probe was a reprisal. In 2021, Archibald won the National Chief of Assembly of First Nations election, the second day of voting after original Belrose, who was in second place, conceded.
So she only got chief because someone conceded?
Yeah. Yeah. Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, in 2021, because Reginald Belrose conceded. She used to be a bully though, so
You know what they say? Know what they say? You can't beat a girl.
yeah, it's the saying. That's what I remember. The additional avenue opportunities from online gaming and sports betting will only increase SIGA's ability as a non-profit to positively impact employment, economic growth, positive community relations, and financial self-reliance. Fuck me in the dick. Today, Young Win was witness to a historic agreement. SIGA will run online gaming and sports betting in Saskatchewan, positively impacting the 74 First Nations. This is an important day for SIGA as we continue to evolve the changing gaming industry. Oh, bless our souls. Bless our betting souls. Oh my God. Through endorsement of bad habits and through breaking of kneecaps by unpaid debts to our casinos, we will grow our 74 communities, First Nation communities. Okay. September 15th.
Hey, how many casinos are they building?
What?
How many casinos are they building?
Right? How do I get a job in one? How do I become the manager of one? Is that a good paying job? To get like 90 grand a year? Thank you for your support. I believe you are very right. You have a very bright political future ahead, and the future is yours to hold. Thank you. This guy's like shouting people out on Twitter. Thanks for the beautiful meal at the 5-star restaurant. You have a beautiful political future ahead of you.
Please vote for this. Let it pass.
Yeah.
Let me build my big house.
We had a clean campaign and thankful for all of you. Thanks, Sarah Loft, Rob Woods, Jen. I don't care about that. For all hard work and assisting and run for national chief. If in national chief, I thought this was like a at. This is Twitter, so adding is people. It's not necessarily a company. Chief Tammy, she's a chief. Free speaker, chief of the Lac La Longe Indian man. Largest First Nation in Sask. Treaty 6. 12 councilors, 6 communities, 19 reserves. Goddamn. Who's like the administration? Like, you keeping track of like 19 reses? Like, holy fuck. Darcy Barron, Cancer for allowing IT and I to use your facilities as our campaign headquarters. I greatly appreciate this show. For stations, including my nominator, Chief Terry Paul. First Nation. You and your community, strong support. Chief Belrose, strategy session. Political advisors. Shows me we're in good hands and on the right path. We got 2 board chin holders, and we got 1 phone lady, and we got note taker.
Note taker, is that a job? A stenographer or what?
Yeah, I think she's stenographer, pen and paper steno. Peter Billantine, Cree Nation Chief Karen Bird, supports Chief Candidate Reginald Belrose, Chief of the Assembly of First Nations. Seems like a nice guy. Chief Sunshine.
Bro, to be honest, I hate how there's like I hate how every community can elect their own chief and council, but then in Canada there's one big chief. It's like, no, bro, dude. What? The government should be going to each individual fucking community and fucking seeing the needs and shit. Like, because every community is so fucking different, dude.
Yep. There's so many of them. Like, I was just looking at the map. It's fucking insane. There's like fucking... It's ridiculous. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of reses and fucking different recognized First Nations communities.
Yeah.
I was saying, boil water advisories, last time I checked, there's way more than just a couple still. There's quite a few. They've been going on for a long time. Earlier this year, Mr. Miller's department said it would not meet the government's promise of ending all long-term boil water advisories in First Nation by March 2021. Ottawa will not specify a new timeline.
Ottawa sucks. Why do they have their own hockey team? What the fuck?
Right? You're trash. Your hockey team's trash. I need to work out and shower. I'm going to do 2 a.m. workout. Hell yeah.
Ottawa sucks. Your politics are shit. Your team is shit. The fuck out of here.
Yeah. Shut down. Get the fuck out. I don't know what Trudeau with these snap elections. This fucking shitty diversity hire cabinet. This relation started with the land, Miller said in response to a question.
Well, I mean, look at our media. Our media is like the majority American media. We indulge in that and absorb it. So it makes sense that Trudeau would call an election like this because down in America that just happened. They just went totally fucking left So like liberals being on the left, like they went like, okay, we want to ride this wave, so let's do it right now.
Yeah.
Didn't change anything in Canada because we're not Americans.
Yeah.
But like they tried. I was honestly hoping NDP would get a couple more seats, man. Fuck.
Oh my god. It's all, like I said, it's all ridiculous.
Who the fuck would vote for the Green Party? Like,
Green Party's trash too. I just vote conservative. I don't give a fuck. I just want to vote conservative to get Trudeau out. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter who's running it. They're all literally, people are right. They're literally all the same part of the same organization. But like, just to get Trudeau out because he's a literal fucking psychopath.
well, fuck it. That's what we do with Harper. We voted him out.
Yeah, but at
We
least
got
Harper's
Trudeau as well.
retarded, and that's why I want another retard like O'Toole in, because at least he's so dumb that even if there was like some type of nefarious organization or dealings going on, he's so fucking dumb that he wouldn't be able to properly, no matter what, the good guys would win or there's something good would happen because he would fuck up one of his nefarious plans because he's dumb. That's what I want. I don't want Trudeau who's fucking, oh hey, I'm the perfect fucking picture of grace and everything you want to see in a candidate. Then what the fuck are you doing behind closed doors? Like, your mom's a fucking psychopath. You read up on his mom, fucking absolute loony. If your mom's a loony, you're gonna be a fucking loony.
Oh, I don't doubt that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Parents play heavily influence. Yep.
You know who I wish was still alive?
Who?
Jack Layton, man.
Yeah, he was yeah, I loved him. Dude, I would vote NDP. If he was still alive, I would actually have voted NDP just for the fuck of it. But
Straight up, man.
I voted Conservatives because I'm like, this is the only party that has a literal any chance of knocking Trudeau out of the fucking parliament, and it didn't happen. I knew it wasn't going to happen. I was going to vote. I was going to put money on Trudeau, and I should have. I should have put my fucking life savings on Trudeau. I should have taken out a loan for like $25,000, dropped it on Trudeau to win. I knew he was going to win, and sure enough, it was like Trump when we were together for Trump. That's magical.
Oh, yeah.
I highly doubted it. I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I had a feeling, and sure enough,
I knew it was gonna happen.
yeah.
I knew it was gonna happen. I had my doubts in the back of my head, but like I honestly fucking like was like, it's gonna fucking happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be Trump.
For sure.
I miss Trump so much, dude.
That was a good era, dude. That was a good times. Those are good days. Back in your days.
At least we can say we fought. Yeah, my days. At least we can say we fought in the meme war.
Right. Yeah, we were in the meme. We fought at the height of the meme wars.
Hillary, oh my god.
Yeah, that was fucking ridiculous. It was stupid. What a dumb bitch. Oh, you dumb bitch.
Pokemon go to the polls.
Is this real life? Benghazi, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Benghazi. It's cool.
Bro, yeah, even you saying that, it's like when Biden said, they asked Biden, was like, what about Afghanistan? He was like, that was 5 days ago. What are you talking about?
You're living in the
Bro,
past.
What? Hillary and Biden, oh my god, they're just fucking spewing shit out of their fucking ass.
Like, allegations. They found her. They said that they were legit.
Archibald says she has a 100-day plan where the recovery of children buried at former residential schools
To win
is a
the job?
priority.
What?
She also wants to further First Nations sovereignty, jurisdiction, and inherent rights, and revitalize the AFN to make it safer and more welcoming for women and LGBTQIA+ peoples. However, Archibald was asked about an internal AFN report that detailed bullying and harassment allegations against her. She did not comment on the report itself and instead had this to say.
Where's your news, man? You
The
got any more
31
news?
years that I've been involved in
Where's
politics,
all the
I've
news,
never
dude?
had a single complaint filed against me. Not even when I was a chief, nor in any role that I previously held. However, I have been the victim of workplace harassment, and I know what that feels like. And so I'm committed to creating safe and healthy.
She totally
working spaces
deflected
for
the
everyone.
question. She deflected the question. What does it say? What did it just say? I just finished reading it. It said that there was an inquiry made into her, and it was found that she did bully and harass. And she addressed it by saying, I have never been accused before in all my life, and I have actually been a victim before. Even though this particular case, I was a perpetrator and I was also found guilty of perpetrating these acts, I'm not going to address it. I'm going to deflect it, just like a normal innocent person who is an Ellen DeGeneres tier psychopath normally does.
Hey, you know, when you bully someone, you make a bully, right?
Right? That's what I'm saying.
It's like on when you grief someone hard enough, you make a
Griefer.
and you start going to grief.
They have nothing left. I guess there's nothing left but to grief. Oh, I get it now. You freed me of my worldly Minecraft possessions. Keys to the AFN and misogyny. Archibald first began this quest in December when she accused the AFN of misogyny and spoke out in favor of a resolution demanding an investigative review of sexual orientation and gender-based discrimination at the National Advocacy Organization, essentially guaranteeing her a position in some aspect, if not the leader. Women are not always respected, especially on the executive. She said at the time while accusing National Chief Perry Bellegarde of trying to obstruct the resolution. Bellegarde had announced that same week he wouldn't seek a third term as National Chief when he denied the allegations. He then urged the chiefs to support the resolution, which carried. The fuck is going on? Bellegarde wished Archibald well in a tweet Friday. I acknowledge National Chief Roseanne Archibald as the first female AFN National Chief. He said, this is a very important, challenging job, and I wish NC Archibald the best. In early February, Chiefs of Ontario, which led to them, passed a confidential resolution demanding an independent review of AFN's financial policies and practices to determine whether there were conflicts of interest or undue influence applied during contract awarding processes. Later that month, she herself became the subject of an independent probe into bullying and harassment allegations multiple AFN employees made against her. Archibald said the investigation was a reprisal measure and a targeted attempt to silence her. What the fuck? But a preliminary investigation by Peter Mantis, a lawyer with international law firm Fasken, deemed the allegations credible. A different investigator was hired and delivered a final report in May. But still in February, the AFN opened a separate but simultaneous investigation by another multinational law firm into allegations of data breach at the organization. The fuck? She couldn't comment on the harassment investigation because its findings are confidential. Classic liberal fucking bullshit. She committed to implementing a whistleblower policy, though. She doubled down on her position that the investigation was an attempt to mute her campaign for internal reform. She committed to implementing a whistleblower policy, though she doubled down on her position that the investigation was an attempt to mute her campaign for internal reform. So that means that that means she's fully committed to transparency if she's implementing a whistleblower policy, and that we need to read this whistleblower policy and make sure that all of her constituents are aware of it, and then we need to interview her constituents with them being aware that there's a whistleblower policy, and that they could tell us anything at that point in time. Is your boss a nice lady? Is she a nice lady? Is she really nice to you? How about this investigation saying that she was bullying and harassing? Why do they need 3 investigations now? Why did the first one say that it was true that she's a bully and harasser, a bullier and harasser? Okay. She doubled.
Is the people do different investigations each time?
So, 1 second. In early February, the Chiefs of Ontario, which Archibald led at the time, passed a confidential. Okay, later in the month, she herself became subject of an independent probe into bullying and harassment allegations multiple AFN employees made against her. It was an independent probe. Archibald said the investigation.
Independent, so third party?
I'm thinking third party, yeah. Archibald said the investigation was a reprisal measure and a targeted attempt to silence her. But it says, but the preliminary investigation by Peter Mantis, a lawyer with international law firm Faskin, deemed the allegations credible. A different investigator was hired and delivered a final report in May. But they don't say what the final report says. And then it says, still in February, the AFN opened a separate but simultaneous investigation by another multinational law firm into the allegations of a data breach at the organization. So there's a data breach investigation going on. There's this investigation into the new leader, Roseanne Archibald, who for harassment and bullying that was deemed credible. And then she's saying that she's a victim. She's playing the total victim card. And then now she's saying she can't talk about the findings because they're confidential. So I'm thinking that she really was harassing and she must have been bullying. That must be the final report, and that's why she's saying it's confidential.
Her lawyer was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. She couldn't comment on the harassment investigation because its findings are confidential. She committed to implementing a whistleblower policy, though she doubled down on her position that the investigation was an attempt. So I'm repeating this again, sorry. And in the 31 years, she says, in the 31 years that I've been involved in politics, I've never had a single complaint filed against me, not even when I was a chief, nor in any role that I previously held, she told reporters. However, as a 23-year-old chief, however, I have been the victim of workplace harassment, and I know what that feels like. So first of all, does that sound believable at all? She's been involved in 31 years, so she's what, 54 now? Because she was 23 when she became chief, a female chief. Not a single.
No.
If you started when you're 23 and if you've been working for 31 years, you're telling me you haven't had a single complaint filed against you? Bull fucking shit. There's always that one person that's going to fucking bitch about you, regardless of what you do. And if people know you, they're going to brush it off. So you know for sure that she's a bullshitter right off the bat, saying that. You've worked 31 years in politics and not one person's bitched at you. Okay. Politics is literally, your job is getting bitched at by people. People coming to you and going, change this, my life sucks. Change this, my life sucks. That's literally your job, is people bitching. Ashwell said Friday the FN spent $250,000 on these investigations without ever receiving a complaint in writing. There are no formal complaints, and I was never interviewed for this report, and the process undertaken didn't follow the guidelines as outlined in the AFN Code of Conduct. She said, I have felt targeted, and I felt that this happened because of reprisal. There are no formal complaints, and I was never interviewed for this report. And the processes didn't follow the AFN Code of Conduct. So what were the complaints, though, and why aren't you addressing them? I don't understand. Archibald didn't answer directly when asked if she will implement Ontario's demand for financial scrutiny now that she's national chief. I will be reaching out to Ontario Regional Chief Glenn Hare to have a discussion about his confidential resolution and finding a path forward to make sure the finances of the AFN are run with integrity, that the chiefs are aware of where the money is being spent, particularly on contracts, she said. So they're only going to speak about contracts. They won't go into details, though. Like, that's what the Liberals do every time. They say we have billions in spending, and then we have contracts, and then they're like, okay, well, who are the companies, and what are the details of the or private contracts? Just know that the contract, or they'll say this is the company, but we can't go into details of the contract because it's a private contract, and it's like, well, how do we know that the money you're investing? It's like, how much money are you investing? Well, there's a general range of the money that we're investing. We can't disclose exactly how much because we don't know until the project's done. And and it's like, what the fuck? If I run with integrity, where the money is being, yeah, bullshit. Archibald is veteran politician, originally from Tagamu Nation, 125. North of Timmins, attempted to put these controversies behind her and focus on her historic win. Yeah, who wouldn't? But the fact of the matter is that you're responsible for like hundreds of thousands of people, and we can't have the least bit corrupt person in that type of position making decisions for hundreds and thousands of people. Like, this is absolute madness. She said she will focus on ending violence against Indigenous women, tackling the climate crisis, and addressing systemic racism. Wow. Really? Wow.
We don't need to worry about climate until we get China involved in the climate, because nothing's going to happen unless we get China in fixing the climate.
Right.
And I don't think they're too keen on doing that right now.
Yeah. And ending violence against Indigenous women and tackling crime. She said the three most basic things and didn't address any of the shit that we're talking about, like education, all this other shit going on. Like, what the fuck? She'll focus on her priorities include defending First Nations sovereignty, striking an economic prosperity table, and developing consensus-based decision-making processes. She added, our colonial and patriarchal systems need to be deconstructed and dismantled so that women and gender diverse people could find a space in leadership positions, Archibald remarked. What? So I gotta fucking, like, identify as a woman or to what? I'm not against.
Doesn't make any sense. We're one of the most progressive fucking countries on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we accept everything. Like we have diversity hires, but like it's not to the extent of America. Like our diversity hires, like, oh yeah, you right for the job, yeah, cool. We don't give a shit if you're fucking LGBTQ, Black, Asian, Hispanic, white, Indigenous. You know, for the most part, like everyone's like, yeah, you fit the job, like yeah, do it, man. Like, I mean, there's still racism and stuff, but like we're one of the most accepting countries on the planet, man, hands down.
And like half our organizations just got made. Listen to this one, bro. The AFN has never had a woman as national chief until now. That's cool. That's great. But like most of these organizations are new, right? Like we haven't had like organizations involved in the government until recently. So first of all, okay, the last national chief from Ontario was Delbert Riley in 1982 when it was still called the National Indian Brotherhood. In fact, the AFN's name registered under Corporations Canada is still the National Indian Brotherhood, which Archibald pointed out to the reporters. Exclusionary language is one of many ways harmful misogyny manifests against women in politics, Archibald said, adding that misogyny ranges from patriarchal attitudes to outright hateful attacks on powerful women. Wow. Whoa. Okay. Strong woman, victim woman. What is happening? Exclusionary languages. Because it said brotherhood? It's like it's one of the first indigenous organizations that ever existed. Like the AFN's name registered under corporation. Like, what? Is it? She's mad because it wasn't called the National Indian Sisterhood? Personhood? Like, what? Harmful misogyny? Okay. It's important that 80% of the chiefs across Canada are men, and they elected me. She said, that to me speaks to the change that is happening. Didn't it just say she won because her rival conceded? What?
I mean, it's yeah, that's true. Eh? Fuck.
Right? It's important that 80% of the chiefs across Canada are men and they elected me, she said. And that to me speaks to the change that is happening. That our brothers understand the importance of creating space. They're also probably liberal. My chief's is your chief lib?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they are.
Yeah. Archibald was elected national chief on Thursday following a 5-ballot runoff vote. She got 205 or 350 ballot casts. Just 50% of the 406 delegates registered to vote. The threshold to win was 60%. Her opponent, Reginald Burrows, longtime chief Muskegon First Nation, conceded after he lost votes during round 5. 5 other candidates ran in the race: Kathy Martin, Lee Crowchild, Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart? Oh, shit. Kevin Hart? Oh, no way. Jody Callahoo, Stonehouse, and Alvin Fiddler. What's up, bro?
I said that must have been a short campaign.
You're right. Fucking Kevin Hart. What the fuck? That's hilarious. Super cool. Call for independent financial review. Just concerns from Ontario region, which is calling for external scrutiny of financial policies. BT News has learned the chief of Ontario's passed a confidential resolution February 4th calling for an independent review of AFN, saying Chief of Ontario has reason to believe the Executive Committee has breached its code of conduct and ethics. The resolution calls for an independent financial management expert to review AFN policies and processes for awarding contracts and determine whether there were conflicts of interest or undue influence applied during these processes. Records it is possible that the concerns may be linked to work done for AFN by a company called Indigenous Languages Revitalization Associates, a sole proprietorship registered to the National Chief's longtime partner. Valerie Galley Bellegarde. Dude, imagine the app was involved in this, the Ogoki Learning and all that shit. Valerie Galley Bellegarde is listed in LinkedIn as the founder and principal consultant for this company, having occupied those positions between March 2018 until present. Page said the company worked for AFN on language legislation co-development, describing a vision for a language reclamation as the golden thread of her career. The Indigenous Languages Act received royal assent based on direction from First Nations. AFN is advocating legislation to establish long-term, sustainable, consistent, appropriate approaches to support First Nations in their efforts to recover, reclaim, maintain, and normalize First Nation languages. Assembly of First Nations. Languages and Culture Sector. Supports chiefs, technicians, and First Nations in advocating the First Nations language and culture rights. Family language revitalization. Supports the maintenance of Indigenous languages. Our families learning for speaking their language at home. Valerie Galley Bellegarde, the United Nations.
Yo. Alright, I'm out, man. I'm gonna go make some eat.
Alright, have a good one, bro. It's nice chatting with you.
Peace, man.
Peace.
Yeah. If you recorded that, answer every time I say Alright, peace, bro.
Peace, bro. Oh, this PDF open. Open, you piece of shit. Just statement indicating AFN awarded and paid out a contract worth $49,770 to Indigenous languages. Has not been able to verify the authenticity of this document. Oh, it's 50 grand. Brr. Boo. Boo-hoo. First-hand knowledge of how contracts were awarded at AFN in the past told APTN contracts worth over $50,000 usually required a request for proposal type of process. Such contracts also required approval by the executive committee, but contracts under $50,000 would have been sole sourced by a senior manager responsible, but have to be properly justified. The source said Perry Bellegarde's A Tuesday interview request to AFN's Chief Executive Officer, Janice Ciavaglia, sent a statement. The AFN is aware of the COO resolution, which I have recommended that it be added to the agenda for discussion by the Executive Committee. It's comprised of the regional chiefs, said Ciavaglia via email. APTN then submitted a list of questions asking for clarification on the work completed by Indigenous Languages Revitalization for AFN. All contracts in excess of $25,000 in a fiscal year are reviewed by the Executive Committee. To the best of my knowledge, there have never been concerns raised by the regional chiefs with regard to contracts to Indigenous Languages Revitalization Associates. Ciavaglia wrote, "In my records, there have been 4 contracts issued to this company since 2014, all of which would have been contracted through our Languages Secretariat, approved by CEO. Contracts, whether sole source or tendered, are reviewed to ensure they adhere to the FN's conflict of interest rules. CERN isn't new for the outgoing chiefs. For hiring his spouse, who went on Valerie Galley then as a political advisor. He acknowledged, 60 grand's pretty nice up north, for a salary, but conflict of interest, but said the AFN was following all human resources hiring policies. Her LinkedIn page said Valerie Bellegarde remains in the role of senior advisor. Calls for a report to be completed within 3 months, along the recommendations, strengthen financial decision making. If the independent report concludes that there has been a breach in the Code of Conduct and Ethics for AFN Executive, the discipline procedures of the code shall be initiated." Seems like Roseanne's looking to get a little stuff done herself. The resolution is signed by Regional Chief Roseanne Archibald. This is the second time in just over 2 months Archibald has supported a resolution alleging misconduct within the AFN Executive. Whether or not a breach of the Code of Conduct and Ethics has occurred has not yet been determined. The AFN, we have problems with the Assembly of First Nations. Women are not always respected, especially on the executive. So the chief immediately denied he was resisting the process and told the chief to support the resolution. It was adopted. Archibald's office declined interview requests on Tuesday and Wednesday, but then she issued a long public statement late Thursday. It says Perry Bellegarde brought harassment allegations against her to her attention immediately after the COO resolution. Chief Bellegarde and his legal counsel, Mantis, called me without notice, told me about legal allegations, harassment allegations. Independent financial review of an Assembly of First Nations. I've become a target of National Chief and Assembly of First Nations Secretariat because I have documents that show financial improprieties within the Assembly of First Nations. News after the story was posted. Mantis's lawyer organization and not Bellegarde's personal counsel. Properties have not been determined. Interesting. So it seems Roseanne called out the old Bellegarde for hiring his wife and spending 50 grand here and there. Okay. Seems like she might be a bully too, though. It's like, what's going on? Seems like none of these guys should be involved. Seems like we should find a younger person who's more level-headed, who isn't ridiculous. She should endorse that. She was a 23-year-old chief.